Hello, ladies. Who is ready to have a fun day of talking, chatting, reminiscing of the past, and, of course, drinking coffee and a little bit of wine? Yeah, we all are. Okay. Whoa, the house just shook. Hello. Um, Suzanne. Hi, Heather. I brought someone with me. Is that okay? Who did you bring with you? I don't know if she'll want to sit down, but I brought my next door neighbor. Michelle, I think you might have met her. Hello, ladies. Hi. Yep, I came to join. Okay, ladies. Who would like to start us off here and such of telling stories? Telling stories, what? Yeah, today we are going to tell our newer neighbors about the past and about what the street was like before they came. I suppose I'll start because I was the first one here out of all of us. So to get things started, I moved into this house 20 years ago with my family. I moved in when we built this house in the year 2000. I lived here with myself, my mother, my father, and all my siblings. Because I have 3 siblings. I have an older sister and 2 younger brothers. I remember 20 years ago. 2000, 20 years ago. 2001, 2 years ago, 20 years ago. Well, kids and honey, welcome to our new home. It's already finished. Oh my god, honey, we did such a good job of building it. Yes, I know, dear. In the year 2000, all 4 of my siblings were living at our current home. So guys, since I'm the oldest, I get the downstairs basement. Suzanne, you get your own bedroom upstairs, and then the boys get their own bedroom. Oh, we still have to share? We're like in our late teens, early 20s now. Yes, guys, but yeah. Okay. Oh look, there's some people over there. They're looking at us. Wonder who they are. Hello there, I'm your new neighbor. Hello there. Me and my family just built this house too. I have a 3-year-old and I have a 8-year-old. Hello, yes, hello. My name is Michelle. Hello there. We are we just moved in too. Nice. I'm gonna be your next door neighbor. I live right next to you with my kids. Yes, I live here too. Before me and my family moved into this home, we lived in a house that we grew up in. My first house, my childhood house. My parents built that house when they got married. Me and my siblings all grew up in this wonderful home. And then we decided we wanted to buy a new house. So then we decided to sell our old house. It had 4 bedrooms, so it was a pretty large house. And then on the main floor, and then one room that we used as a bedroom in the basement. So each of us got our own bedroom. But when we moved here, we were downsizing just a little, but we knew it was okay. Yes, my dad had just retired and my mom was working, so we still had enough money to afford to buy a new house. Time soon passed. After over a year of living there, we got to know some of our neighbors. Our neighbor Michelle lived directly beside us in Erica Taylor's old house. And now Melissa Goodwin's home. Yes, Melissa, this is your house, by the way, we're talking about. In your house, Melissa, there was a lady named Michelle that lived there. And she had 2 kids, James and Kayla. Kayla at the time was 4, and James had just turned 9. And they were brother and sister. She had a husband too named Hunter, but we didn't know him that well. Well, thanks for the barbecue, guys. I gotta go to work. Bye. Yes, Hunter always went to work, always leaving us. We didn't know why. And 2 doors down, we eventually met the McGoy family. Christine and Douglas were there, and then Christine's daughter, Johanna, who she had in her previous marriage. And Christine had an announcement to make at this family barbecue, or neighborhood barbecue. Hello, neighbors. I would just like to let you know that Douglas and I are expecting our first baby together. Yes, he is due in February of 2002. Yes. This baby boy ended up being Jonah McGoy, who is now 19. Christine was pregnant with him at the time. And they had announced that to us, and that's in August of 2000, exactly 21 years ago. 20 years ago. Congratulations, Christine. Yeah, congrats. Thank you. Douglas and Christine built, in the order that our houses went, our house was built first, so me and my family moved in. Next to us, our neighbor's house was built, and then the McGoys built their house later in that year. Their house, unfortunately, that year there was a big snowstorm, and their house got delayed until March, and then they moved in 6 months ago, in March of 2002. Yes. Those were our immediate neighbors, but then down the block there were some more families. At the time in the Brown house, there was a single person who was older. We did not know them really well. Besides them was a family with 5-year-old twin boys, and we constantly heard them fighting from down the street. There was a Walgreens family, and they moved out not that long after they bought their townhouse. After only living in their townhouse for 5 years, they moved out in the year 2005. And we never really heard from them anymore. And finally, in Catherine's house, lived Alice with a pregnant Alice with her husband, with their soon-to-be triplets on the way. So they were very busy at that time, preparing for 3 little babies in their massive house. Yes, Christine was a very excited mom to be. But unfortunately, she then started crying. Christine, what's wrong? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to have 2 babies. Christine decided to send her daughter Johanna back to her ex-husband to live with her father while she was pregnant with Jonah, until she had her baby boy. As the next few years went on, my siblings and I were outside in a year from now. This was 2002, when my sister confessed she was starting to see another guy. I met the love of my life. His name is Michael Genre. Genre? Yes. Oh, I have a crush on him. I met him at work. Oh, you should go talk to him. Yes, I plan to. By the end of 2002, they were already dating. By the year 2003 came around, Michael engaged in Christmas 2003. Will you marry me, Kim? Oh my God, yes! We were all downstairs and we were so excited to hear that they were engaged. Woohoo! They're getting married! In 2004, they got married. In early 2004. And then by the end of 2004, they announced she was expecting. Over these few years, the relationship went really fast. They went from meeting to dating to engaged to married, and now having a baby on the way. Yes. Baby Genre is making their appearance in early 2005. Woo! They soon had their first child, but then unfortunately my mother had to stay away. What's wrong, sweetie? I'm not doing that well. My mother unfortunately was falling sick, but she was able to see her grandson. Oh, he's so cute! Then my mother said something. I have to go to the bathroom. This was unlike my mother to have to go to the bathroom very often. So she went in the house and went to the bathroom. She didn't come out for a long time. My father went to go check on her. It's been like 20 minutes. I'm gonna go check on your mother. But we were too excited to meet the newest member. He is so cute. Yeah, Suzanne, you can have my room now. No, I'm taking your bedroom. Oh man, I thought we already discussed this. Oh no, I never moved out, so... I then made a confession. I have a boyfriend too. You do? Yes, his name's Darren. Oh! My father soon found my mother in a pile of items. Oh my god! My mother got rushed to the hospital and was diagnosed with lung cancer. It was very hard on us. And then I ended up getting married to Darren. You see, I forgot to mention this earlier, but we actually had been seeing each other in 2004. So we got engaged in 2004. So we met and got engaged in 2004. And in 2005 was our wedding. Darren and I got married on July 18th, 2005. But at our honeymoon, we had to rush back home because my mother was not doing well. This was on July 20th, and we had to postpone our honeymoon to watch my mother suffer. And on July 25th, 2005, my mother passed away, surrounded by me and all of our family, with only one grandchild in all. I was heartbroken, losing my mother so early on in our marriage. I was a mess, and Darren helped me every step of the way. Darren and I ended up moving into my parents' house after we got married to help my father because he was going through a very rough time. I was very happy one of my mother's last memories was watching me get married because I know that's what she always wanted for me. As time went on, in 2006, my brother met and married Brianna for only a short amount of time. They met in late 2005, and then they ended up getting married in 2006 after only being together for a few months. And he shortly moved out. And then it was just the four of us living here. Darren and I and my father and my brother. This is a conversation I remember very well. In April 2006, my father had a decision to make. And he ended up pulling me aside to talk about it. So, Suzanne, I know you and Darren want to move out and start the next chapter of your lives, right? My father was hinting I might have kids. Dad, what are you talking about? Don't you want kids, Suzanne? Yes, of course. Darren and I are just waiting. We might have one, like, next year or something. Oh. Well, I was thinking if you guys wanted to move out, that we should sell this glorious mansion of ours. I could not believe it. Dad, are you nuts? No. There's been good and bad times here, and I cannot over the past 6 years, and I need to move on with my life. Your brother and I have decided to move to an apartment while you can stay living here with Darren. Then that gave me an idea. I mean, not living here with Darren. Maybe you and Darren can move out on your own, and your brother and I can move out on it together. That gave me an idea. Dad! No, we don't need to do that. What? Just pass the house over to me. What? Yeah, Darren and I can live here. Are you sure, Suzanne? Yes, I would love to live here with you, Dad. No, it's okay. Your brother and I can move out. Your brother was thinking about moving somewhere else. And I've been thinking of downsizing because it's been a lot on me to do all this yard work. But Dad, Darren's been doing all the yard work since Mom passed away. Well, yeah. So from that moment on, we decided we were going to keep our house. Because I believe moving would have been the worst mistake we would have ever made. Because I would have missed out on so many opportunities. In late 2007, early 2007, no, in the middle of 2007, I told my dad and everyone something. Darren and I are expecting after our miscarriage. Yes, at the end of 2006, I told my father we were expecting our first child, and they were due in March 2007. Unfortunately, we miscarried that baby. It makes me sad to talk about my first child. But then we ended up getting pregnant again, and this time we got pregnant with 3. Dad, I'm pregnant with triplets. 2 girls and a boy. And they're due in 2008. In March 2008. Oh my gosh. Yes, this was exactly 8 months after my miscarriage that I got pregnant with my next set of kids. I was super happy. Once the triplets were here, that's when the real work began. How am I going to do it? 3 babies. We'll do it. And from then, 13 years have flown by, and yeah, my brother ended up getting with Grace in 2013, about when the triplets were 5, and then they ended up announcing they were having their first child 6 years ago in 2015, and then they had their baby girl. So yes, my brother was good on with his life. What happened when the triplets were born? Well, after the triplets were born, he ended up moving in with us to help. And, staying there. And then after he moved out, in 2010, he moved out. Oh. And then, yeah, it was kind of back and forth for the last few years. And then once he met Grace, he moved out with her, and he didn't really move back since. So currently now, I have 3 beautiful 13-year-old children, and I have a wonderful husband and an amazing father, and we all live under this roof. And if you ask me if I'm ever planning on moving, that is not happening. But I plan on staying here a long time. This house has had so many memories and ups and downs here. Wow, Suzanne, what a great story. And that has been basically the key events in my life over the past 20 years. Mom, who are you talking about? Well, I was just talking about you. Oh, when I was born? Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's one of my kids. That's Everett. I have 3. I miss the past, but I'm also hopeful for the future. They're going into 8th grade. I cannot believe it. Yeah, time flies. Not Christine. Suzanne, it was a really good story. Thank you. Now, how about I tell you the story of the history of your house, Melissa? Okay. So, it all began when we first met. From the day Michelle and I met, we knew that we were going to be best friends. And she did become one of my best friends. At the time, there was a privacy fence, and Michelle kicked it down. I don't need this silly privacy fence. She kicked it down. When the fence came down, we knew we were going to be best friends. Oh, Michelle, you and I are going to be best friends. And this happened 20 years ago. From behind closed doors, from what Michelle told me, her life wasn't as picture perfect as she wanted it to be. Michelle married her husband who was her husband at the time, back in Michelle had married her ex-husband for 10 years, were married 10 years, but behind closed doors they used to fight. He was at work a lot, so that made her mad. Honey! I'm stuck here raising a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old, and you're stuck at work all the time. Yes, well, someone has to make the money, Bree. I'm not Bree, I'm Michelle. Oh, sorry, Michelle. Yes, well, at least I've had time to spend with my neighbor, Suzanne, but come on, man. Like, we just moved here and it's like, oh. Sorry, Michelle. Sorry. Yes, their fights began 5 years before they called it quits. Over the next 5 years, the kids grew and they actually ended up growing apart. One night when Brianna and the kids was... Not Brianna. One time when Michelle and the kids were sleeping, he decided to go out. He put himself on a dating website to try to meet new girls. And he found a successful one. Time to go see her. This was in 2003. She ended up coming. Hi, honey. Hi. She was a lot older than him. I just lost my husband, and now I want a new one. Yeah, totally. It got messy really fast. They were having the time of their lives being together. That morning, Brianna came down and found them. Oh my god, what are you guys doing? Kissing? Hello there. Michelle. Who is she? Hi, dear, my name is... My name is Gina. Gina? Yes. Now, if you excuse me, I will clean your house for you if you let me stay. Yeah, she's just here to clean the house. That didn't look like cleaning the house. Oh, Michelle. Do you want me to wake up the kids and call it quits? 'Cause I'm trying my hardest not to scream. But in my head right now, I am screaming and yelling at you. I cannot believe you. Choosing her over me. Sneaking out. Yes, Michelle was really upset. It's fine, Bree. I mean, not Bree, Michelle. I'm just going to go to work now. Have fun with Jean. And he left to head to work. As Michelle sat there in awe, Jean pushed her. Oh, what are you trying to do, Jean? Yes. She knocked her over and she blacked out. As she was in and out of consciousness, she gave her a drink, which was alcohol, and she drank it. Oh my gosh, that's good. Michelle really enjoyed her first drink. Can I have some glasses, please? Oh, sure, I'll fill every glass full up there. And she served her many, many drinks of alcohol, and that's when Michelle got addicted to alcohol. Her kids, Kayla and James, came downstairs and saw their mom passed out on the floor. Mom, we have to go to school, Mom. They were little at the time. Kayla was 6, and James was 11. Mom. Hi, kids, I'm your nanny. Just go to school. Okay. Yes, the kids went off to school without their mother that day. And this was in 2003. This particular day was a Tuesday morning. We always met up every Tuesday. But when Brianna was no show, I had no idea what to think. An hour later, she came over. Hello there, Suzanne. Sorry I'm late. She was acting really strange to me and slurred her words. What's going on? Oh, nothing. She was acting really weird. She was drunk. Yes, I'm really happy to see you. Oh my gosh. Uh, what is going on with my friend? I had no idea what to expect. A few more days went by, and I eventually saw what was found. She was acting the same way. That weekend, they were supposed to go to a fair, and it was at 9 a.m. Oh, where is your mother, kids? I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. Oh, I can go with you guys if you want. Yeah. Thank you. Jean went with her ex-husband and their children off to the fair where they were going. That morning I was putting in plants when I saw the four of them leave. And I didn't notice Brianna leaving too. That's funny, where was Brianna? Brianna was still in the house, but I had no idea. You see, since this was only happening for a little while, Brianna and I always met outside. So I went inside to try to figure out the mystery of why she was acting weird. Brianna had given me one of her house keys, so I was able to get into her house. When I came in, I saw so many bottles of wine ready for her to drink. Oh my god, how many drinks does she have? She can't have that many. So then Brianna came down. She wasn't drunk that day. I mean, Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Ah! I startled Michelle. Suzanne, did we have plans? Oh my god. Then she realized she saw me looking at the wine. Don't look. No, what's wrong, Michelle? No, don't look at that. Just keep going. No, Michelle, you're one of my closest friends and I need to know what's happening. Michelle sat me down and explained everything of what happened. I could not believe it, and so I suggested one thing. Well, I noticed you're changing. And who's influencing you? Jean. Kick her out. And if your husband is upset by that, kick him out too. You have no choice. Michelle had no choice, but she did. She was agreeing to it. I'm sorry, but I don't want your children growing up in a house with alcohol and wine everywhere. Yes, you're right. Such a horrible mother. I stayed with them all day until eventually I came home. They came home later. Such a fun day at the fair. Yeah. Kids, remember, don't tell your mother. Yes, tell me what? Nothing. What I noticed clearly, her husband clearly was not paying attention to her. Hi, Mom. Hi, Kayla. Hey, Mom. Hey, James. Oh, Suzanne, hi. Hi, guys. They didn't... I still could not process that they were doing that. I told Brianna I better leave and let them figure this out. So that's what I did. Bye. Bye. From what I was told what happened, Brianna went talked to her husband. Michelle said to her husband, listen, if you or Jean needs to leave. I'm sorry, Jean, but you're not being a good influence on the kids. Wine? Alcohol? Yes. Well, I can't live like that. So, I'm gonna need you to leave. Well, if you leave, kick her out, we're done. What? Kids, it's okay. You cannot threaten the D word, sort of D word on the table if I'm just asking you to leave, one person to leave, which is Jean. Brianna, I was trying to make your life better, but I guess not. Jean left angrily. Goodbye, family. Then she whispered something to her husband. I will meet you in town square. Okay. She left and she was never seen again by Brianna. By Michelle. Michelle was a wreck. Eventually, over that next year of 2004, her husband came home, very upset. Oh, she's leaving. I can't believe it. What? Jean from our old maid is moving. She got a new place in 2005. What? Yeah. Eventually, that started to cause drama in their marriage, and they started to fight. And fight. And fight. Until he had enough. That's it, said her husband. In 2005, this was early 2005, after weeks of fighting over that Christmas. That's it. I am taking Kayla and we are leaving. Well, one of you. Come on, kids, we're leaving. I'm giving you a better life than your alcoholic mother. She was so mad that she hit her husband to the floor. Ugh, Michelle! And that's when things started to get physical. They started to get into a really big fight. In front of their own two kids. Ugh, get off! She eventually kicked him out the door. And slammed it shut. He's never coming back here again. Kayla and James were so shocked and upset they ran upstairs crying. And Brianna had looked to her left and still saw all of the alcohol there. Once the kids went upstairs, she drank and drank all those bottles once again. She was turning herself into an alcoholic. A few days after the divorce, they were getting divorced, he came back and said something. He snuck into the side of their house. Oh, you never cleaned this up yet. I've been too busy drinking. What? I need to take one of our kids. I'm going to be taking Kayla. And we're going to be going. Lucky for him, our children had just gotten home from school. Kayla, you and I are going to go move with Janina. James, you can stay here with your mother. The reason why he took Kayla's was because he was hoping his son would follow them one day, since he was older. He learned to go load up Kayla in the car, and when Kayla was going to the car, he whispered something to James. James, when you're older, I want you to come move with me, okay? I'll give you the best life ever with Janina. Okay, Dad. James didn't know what to say, but then her ex-husband left, and he was never seen again. Then there was a lot of tears. Once James went to school, she cried, and when James would go to school the next few days, she would cry and cry and cry. She did not want to have her sorrow over him, her ex-husband. Eventually, a few years went by, and she watched her son go from a 13-year-old kid in 2005 to an 18-year-old young man in 2010. This was the year her son was in grade 12, and he was planning on graduating. And he came to his mother that year with some news. Mother, I got accepted to college. She soon realized the college where he was going to is where her ex-husband was going. And she was still an alcoholic. But she never opened up to him about that. So I'm going to be leaving this summer, actually. Goodbye. James was following out on his father's plan to leave Michelle all by herself. That school year came and went quick, and before she knew it, her son was leaving. Goodbye, Mother. I will come back and visit you one day, and I will bring Kayla back too. Yes, because I haven't seen Kayla in 5 years. I know, Mother. See you soon. And James left. Once James left, she was a wreck. She now had to manage a household on her own. No kids, no husband, no parents, nobody to share her life with. Since Michelle's parents had passed away, years before this. The only thing that kept her going was her drinks. She drank and drank and drank. Since she was a teacher with me, she also snuck her drinks into class, and one day, a student noticed them. This was a snow day, so she figured today would be a good day to drink. But then there was a transfer student that came into the class that looked a lot like her son. She could not handle this, and as she drank her wine and let her students do whatever she wanted, she passed out. Students were so confused, and they shouted for their teacher next door. The teacher next door came over and began helping Michelle. She was still alive but unconscious, so she got rushed to the hospital. Once in the hospital, she was pronounced dead. She died because of all the years of drinking caused her brain to shut down, and that made her organs shut down. She passed away after doing lots of alcohol for over 8 years. After she passed away, this was in April 2010, her house sat abandoned for 2 months because nobody wanted it. Nobody knew who would need this house. But then in 2010, the Taylor family moved into this estate home. In 2010, a pregnant Erica Taylor and her husband Rob Taylor moved in. They bought the home and moved in. When they came to look at the house the first time, Erica noticed something. My word, is this house ever messy. Man. Well, she just passed away and none of her family members want to come back. Yeah, I guess. I guess we'll take it. Yeah. We need a bigger house. This will be a great house to expand our family. For sure, Erica. And Melissa, that is the story of your house. Erica Taylor moved in and lived there. Would you mind sharing the story about Erica Taylor when she lived in her house for the past 10 years? Yes. They moved in June 2010, right before her daughter Sophia Taylor was born. They were looking for a house fast and snagged up that house once it was abandoned and sitting with no one living in it for 2 months. Once they bought the home, they did some minor switches and changes, and they were very happy parents. Erica had already had 2 children from a previous marriage. Sarah, who was 6 at the time, and her son Samuel, who was only 2. And she was pregnant with her 3rd child and first child with Rob Taylor. They were expecting a baby girl, and she was due in June 2010. Erica and Rob married 7 months before in early 2010, like in December 2009. After Erica got out of a messy divorce with her ex-husband Ben, who bought her first 2 children. They got divorced because of many issues, but Rob and Erica stayed together until the very end. Time went by quickly, and Erica and Rob went from raising kids to raising teenagers and young and older kids. My, oh my children are growing up. Yes, Mom. Yeah. In 2018, Erica and Rob thought they should move because they had a 14-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 8-year-old. Rob, we're getting really outgrown for this house. We should maybe move. Actually, no, it was Rob that suggested they should move first, not Erica. Well, Erica said we should move. Our kids are getting grown up. But Erica had made really good friends with everyone on the street. And she was also one of my closest friends. Yes, I understand, but yeah. They did not know what to do, whether to stay or go. Mom, I'm starting high school. Let's just stay. Okay. They eventually agreed to stay. 3 years went by, and it's our current year, 2021. This was an eventful year for the Taylor family, as a lot happened. In early February, the family brought up about moving to their children. So kids, we have decided we're going to sell our house because it is too small for us. What? Yes. They eventually ended up selling the house to you, Melissa. So, I have a question. Yeah? This is Melissa. Yes, Melissa? Unlike the previous family, was there any events that happened over the past 10 years of them living there? Well, there was a little bit of events, but there wasn't that many. Oh, okay. Yeah, there wasn't a lot that happened, just a lot of chaos with her ex-husband, but we do not need to get into that, because there's a lot of stories to go around. They sold their house to you, Melissa, in March 2021. And moved out a few days later in April 2021. It was really sad watching the Taylor family move, because all kids were close and we were close as friends and neighbors. Well, here you go, off after 10 years. Yeah, on to bigger and better. They moved away and moved into a new house and lived there happily for a month and a half. Just then, one bus accident changed everything. Erica Taylor's father had gotten into a really bad bus accident with them, and he ended up passing away. Then at his funeral, Erica Taylor fell off that cliff. Oh my god. And she ended up passing away. And you all know the rest of the story. So, I'm worried, Suzanne. Since the previous two moms that lived in my house both passed away now, am I next? Melissa, don't think like that, sweetie. You're not going anywhere. Are you sure? Of course not. You still have a life long to live. Just what happened with the previous two wives that lived in that house. Erica Taylor passed away from an accident, and Michelle passed away because of her own fault. You won't be next. Trust me. Okay, I really hope not. You won't be. It's really sad that we lost some of our favorite women. But, yeah. Thank you for sharing the stories with me, Suzanne. I never knew what happened in my house before. No problem. Well, might as well. I will share the story of the McGoy family next. Because Anna, you do not know what happened before you moved in. I don't actually. Well, I have a story for you. I met Christine McGoy when we moved into this house. Her house was built after mine, like I mentioned earlier, so I didn't meet her for almost a year. But in 2001 is when I met her, 20 years before. We met and became really good friends. Christine and I ended up getting really close, and that's how come we became really good friends. However, shortly after Jonah was born, they went through a minor separation, and he was in and out of the house for the past 3 years. What am I supposed to do for this separation? Christine, it's gonna be okay. I really hope you two find your way back together, but until then, it's okay. Jonah was really young. He was only 1 at the time in 2003 when she told me the bad news. What am I supposed to do? I don't have a lover anymore. I have no idea. Since I never had broken up or been in a relationship yet, I had no idea how to help Christine. All I could do was be there for her and be the friend she needed and wanted. For 3 years, Christine was a single mother with Jonah. Yay! Jonah, don't walk on her flowers. Sorry. He was a cute kid, and he was born before my triplets. He was actually born 6 years before them. But at the time, the triplets weren't born yet. This was in 2005 when they, around this time. And Christine didn't know if she should go back together with him. It's been 3 years of us going on and off. I just want to make something work, she said to me one day. How about this? Go with Jonah and use Jonah as your way to get yourself back together. Christine thought that was an amazing idea, and she went off to go find him. He was found at the mall with the woman. Jonah soon went up to them. Dad, who's this? My name's Rosa. Hi, this is your new stepmother. Just then Christine came in. Hello, honey. My ex-husband. Hi. They officially weren't divorced yet, so we'll sort of go through the divorce. Just then Christine going back to him. No. Douglas, we need to be together for Jonah. And while he's young, let's turn things around with our relationship. Please? Jonah soon agreed and dumped her. Ow! They soon left and came back home together. When I saw them come home as a family of three again, I was excited and so happy for them. Years and years went by and Jonah grew up before our eyes. After going through to his fifth year in high school and turning 19, he decided he was ready to go to college. And so they made an agreement that they were going to move potentially. Douglas wanted to stay, but Christine wanted to go. They were back and forth every day and could not make up their mind. Eventually, the only way they figured to solve their problems was to get a divorce. And Douglas and Christine moved out first. Douglas was not ready to sell, and he wanted to wait for a few months, but Christine wanted to sell earlier because the Playmobil housing was really good, and she wanted to move out sooner. So Christine went along and bought herself an apartment, leaving Douglas, with Jonah coming back and forth every day. And this happened for 4 months straight. Eventually, when Jonah was finishing high school, Douglas decided it was time to sell the house. And that's when he sold the house over to you, Anna. And, well, I guess now your ex-husband now and your daughter. They found you and they moved away. And they all moved out to different apartments for Jonah to start college. And that is the short but sweet story of the McGoy family. Wow, that was nice. Yeah. It's still sad though. We moved in and now I'm divorced. I'm just like Christine. Yeah. So Anna, are you going to keep your house? I don't know actually, because we've been going back and forth for so long. He has a child on the way with some other girl now. I don't know. Oh, he does? Yeah. I don't know what I should do with my house. I don't want to sell it but it might sell though because of all the renovations we do. But yeah, my daughter's starting her junior year of high school and I don't want to move her in the middle of the year. Well, I'd say, Anna, at least stay for this year, then maybe next year you could talk about moving again. Yes, I might do that, actually. Thank you. Yes. For now, I'm here to stay. Perfect. Next, Ollie, I'll tell you about this story about your old house. I mean, your house, because there's been 3 families that have lived there since. Here's the story. The Walgreens family had 2 sons. Their names are Robert and Jackson. And they were both younger boys. Robert and Jackson were 5 years old when they moved into the townhouse that they built in 2001. They were 5 years old. But now they would be a grown-up. They lived in their townhouse for 4 years, but we didn't know them that well because we were always on the go and traveling. But then in 2004, the family decided it would be best to move on because she was pregnant again, but with twins, after just having twins. Wait, she was? Yes. She was pregnant with twins and they had to sell the house quickly. So they left. She was actually pregnant with twins, triplets, not twins. Molly and her husband moved into the house, and just a few months later, they had a baby girl. They named their daughter Sabrina, and they lived in the townhouse for over 15 years. They were here a long time. In 2007, Molly and her husband divorced over him finding a new girl. They moved out and left Molly alone with her daughter. She could not believe it, and she was sad. But Molly continued on her life with her daughter. Sabrina soon grew from a baby and toddler into a little girl, and she was really happy to live here with her daughter Sabrina. And they lived happily for years and years. Eventually, Sabrina still was not done growing and grew into a teenager. She started grade 9 at high school last year. Well, basically 2 school years ago now. Sabrina ended up looking a lot like her mother. Last school year, in October 2020, Molly decided to start a job since Sabrina went to high school. Actually, last year, when she went to high school, she started a job. She got a job at a library because before that she was working part-time, but still was able to afford the house because of the help of her parents. Once her father passed away in 2018, she had to figure out how to pay the bills by herself. So, she got a job at the library. She worked there for a year and a half until she got promoted to a bigger library in New York. Becoming a librarian was a dream job of hers, and she decided to take that job. When her daughter got home from school, she told her that they had to move. She was distraught. So, we're moving. What? Yeah, we have to move because, I got a job in New York, so, yeah. Why so suddenly, Mom? I got promoted to a job in New York, and I accepted it. Why would you do that, Mom? I thought you liked it here. Yes, Sabrina, but I need some time to, get older and stuff. I want to live somewhere else. We've been living in this townhouse for 15 years now. And, a change of scenery would be nice. Wouldn't you agree? I guess so, Mom. So they sold the house, and Molly moved out first in November 2020, followed by her daughter near the end of November 2020. Vanessa and her son Travis got the house in December 2020. Well, technically November, but they spent Christmas of 2020 and into January renovating their house top to bottom because it hadn't been upgraded in 15 years. And a lot of things were needing replaced. Vanessa luckily knew a contractor. And also, when she met her neighbor, Mr. McGroy, across the street, he came over and helped them fix up their house. Yes, the house will be ready by February. Thank you. Yes, move-in ready. By the time we renovate the kitchen, the bathroom, and everything. Yes. Vanessa was really excited. She had just moved here and was living in a hotel for 2 months before she moved in. And then in February 2021, Vanessa and Travis moved into their home. Vanessa would thought the first little bit of Vanessa's time here was really good, but then things started to go downhill in the spring months. Shortly after moving in, her mother fell ill and lived on for 2 months, but then in April 2021, she sadly passed away. Her father then moved in with her and her 2 brothers, and he had enough money to buy a mansion for all of them to move into. And he suggested they should move in, after her mother's death in April 2021, after only living in this house for 2 months. Even though Vanessa spent 2 months renovating it and had only enjoyed 2 months of living in this home, she realized she could get a lot of value out of it. And money, unfortunately, was more important to her than the friendships she made. Yes, even though she lived a short 2 months, she knew some of her neighbors. She knew Catherine a little bit, but she knew Michelle pretty well. I knew her a little bit, and I ended up meeting Mr. McGoy earlier, too. And she didn't really know Erica Taylor that well. So she knew some of the neighbors, but not everyone. So in April 2021, she decided to put her townhouse for sale and move on with Travis. And that alley is when you moved in May of 2021. Yes. But after that, the life of Vanessa went downhill, according to Michelle, because she still kept in touch with her. Michelle, you explain. Yes, well, Vanessa's father passed away in May 2014 after they got in a really bad car accident. They had only just barely moved into their new home. And then Vanessa passed away in June 2021. She ended up having a boyfriend this whole time since February, and she got pregnant back in March, but didn't tell anyone. She didn't even know she was pregnant. And then she passed away in June 2021 after that bad car accident. She got in 2 bad accidents, and the last one took her out pretty bad. She passed away, leaving Travis to live with his father, and yeah. My God. So everyone passed away that lived there, basically. Well, except for Travis. And after his father left, they were hoping that they could move back. After her father passed away, Travis wished they never moved and was hoping to move back. But that never happened. And then I spent some time renovating and made it again. I just did some furniture rearrangements. And the house looks better than ever. Can I go next? Yes. Well, Catherine, I will show you the story of the family that lived in your house for 18 years. I knew that family very well. Alice and Dave moved into this house the year it was built, in the year 2000, and they lived here for 18 years. Yes. And out of those 18 years, there was lots of ups and downs in their life. They moved in after they had 3 little babies, Michaela, Ben, and Evan, and they were her 3 children. And they were born in 2001, before they moved in. Alice and Dave wanted to build a house because, since their house was built in 2001 also, they wanted to build a house because they wanted to have a house when they found out that Alice was pregnant in 2000. So they looked at building, and that was a great choice for them. 5 years went by, and Alice and Dave called it quits. Yes, Alice and Dave got a divorce in 2005 because they weren't getting along anymore. Dave just worked so much, and Alice couldn't deal with it. Yes, so I'm leaving. This is stuck to my foot. He threw a bag at her. Ow! And ended up leaving. Bye, Alice. Alice could not believe it. She was now a single mom with 3 triplets living in her house. Alice could not believe what was happening. She was in shock. And she eventually raised their kids. However, in 2007, Dave came back and was wanting to talk about custody, and just then took Michaela. They wouldn't even finish the conversation. He shouted at her, "I'm taking Michaela!" Alice could not believe this. Well, she's on the bright side. At least I only have 2 kids to worry about, but we never finished our conversation about custody. The kids never knew what happened to Michaela. In 2009, Alice found love all over again when she met the new man of her dreams. Hello there. Hi. She met him at work and he came to meet her at their house. They eventually fell in love and they got married in 2010. And he moved into Alice's home because he did not want to move after living there for 9 years. Unfortunately for Michaela, after a few years of living with her dad, she got sick of it and decided to run away because she was mad at him for not letting her do stuff. She eventually tried to run away in the middle of the night, but eventually that failed her when she fell off the balcony of their apartment and she got run over by a vehicle. She died instantly, and that was really hard on Alice. She could not believe her only daughter had died, and the triplet to her other kids. She was distraught. This was back in 2011. She tried to face life alone, but then she soon started to feel better with her new husband. Eventually, before the boys began their senior year of high school, Alice decided to move. It's because she wanted them to go to college, and she had been living in this house for 17 and a half, almost 18 years in the beginning of 2017. She decided to list her house in a few months, that she would list her house in a few months and sell it. And she eventually did. The right buyers that would fit this home was Paul and Catherine and their 1-year-old daughter. They decided to sell their home to them, since it was a two-bedroom home. They figured that would be perfect because Catherine was expecting her second child with Paul at the time, and they were needing a home to go in. And this is what they said. Yes, we would love to buy a home because I am expecting my second child, a baby girl, in February 2019. And this is my 1.5-year-old daughter named Abigail. Aww. Alice knew Catherine and Paul were the perfect fit for her home. Sold. And they eventually moved on. And so did they. And Catherine's family began to grow. Yes, it did. It grew. Hey guys, it's me, Catherine. I forgot to mention that, my stepson lived with us at the time too. Anyways, my family grew. It grew, and grew, and grew, and grew. Paul and Catherine have 3 children together. Abigail, who is 4 years old. I have a daughter named Isabella, who is 2 years old, and my newborn son Carter, who is 4 months old. Along with Gabriella, who is 17, turning 18, and my oldest Danny, who is 19. Well, those are Paul's kids. And yes. And that is the story of my house. My house is pretty full now because my father moved in now, who is in his 70s now. My husband and I, my 4 Alexander and our 3 children, and such, and yeah. So, Catherine, are you gonna have any more kids? Anna! Yeah. Yes, I will be having more kids one day. What? Well, I don't know. If it happens, it happens, because it's been 2 years since every kid. Because I had Abigail in 2017, and then I got a new house in 2018, I had Isabella in 2019, and now Carter in 2021. So, maybe in next year, I don't know. Well, you're gonna run out of room if you have a fourth kid with him. I know, we're content with our 6 that we have. And yes, I consider my stepchildren my biological children too, even though they're not. And that is the story of our block. Next up will be the houses down from us. Bye! I suppose I'll go next. Really, Michelle? Yeah. Although you'll have to tell me what happened before I moved in. Okay. So, Michelle, in your home there lived the Gonensi family, and they were consisted of parents with some kids. In the year 2000, the Gonensi family moved into your home, and consisted of a mother. Her name was Patricia Gonensi, and her father, and I mean not her father, and his father, who was James Gonensi. And they had a baby daughter who they named Tabitha Gonensi. Yes, the Gonensi family lived in this house from 2000 to 2007. So they were my neighbors for 7 years. With their first daughter, Tabitha, all the first happened with her. She said her first words, Mama. Oh my god, did you hear that? Yeah. She took her first steps. Come on, Tabitha, come to Daddy. Daddy. Yay! And did everything that babies do for their first time. Hi, Mama! She said her first full sentence! Yes, the Gonensis were a happy family of 3. But then in 2002, something changed everything. In 2002, Patricia learned she was pregnant with her second child. Oh my god, what are we supposed to do? I'm not sure. The Gonensis were not impressed at first, because they did not want multiple children. How are we going to do it? 2 babies? We have a 2-year-old and a newborn now. I know. The Gonensis soon learned that their child would be a boy. And they were so excited as the pregnancy progressed. Complete family, a boy and a girl, complete. Yes. However, the couple was getting older, and they had lots of fear and anxiety in her second pregnancy. Oh my god, I'm 35 now, and I'm having my second child. Yes, when she had her first child, she didn't have as much fear because she was only 33. But now she was 35, and she was experiencing lots of troubles in her pregnancy. But then when they added their second child into the world, they were very excited. Look, it's a new baby brother. Brother! Yeah, Tabitha. Brother! They were a happy family of 4. Patricia and her husband now decided they were done having children, so they did a fertility treatment. But unfortunately, that didn't work out. In 2003, the family discovered they were expecting again, their 3rd child. And now she was much older. She was 39 now, and she was really nervous. Oh my god, I'm pregnant again. Patricia, you gotta be kidding me. We don't have enough room for a 3rd child here. No, I am pregnant. Patricia! Well, James, this isn't exactly my fault, you know. Oh, Patricia, what am I supposed to do? We got 3 kids now. I don't know. And then Patricia soon realized she was not expecting 1. She was expecting 2. Oh my god. Patricia went to the doctor and came home. And when she came home, she told her husband some news. She came running to him sobbing. What? I'm expecting twins! Patricia did not know what to do. Twins? Are you kidding me? No, there's no kids. What? I mean, no, I'm not kidding you. I'm pregnant with twins. Oh my god. Ow, what? Daddy! Daddy! She did not know what to do. The Garnenses were having lots of troubles in their marriage, and Patricia had no idea what to do. She was in her bathroom alone, sobbing and crying. I feel like I'm not white to have twins. She learned that her twins were both girls, and she did not know how to move forward from this. How am I gonna go to a 2 to 4 kids? Ow! Yes, this was in 2003. She had no idea what to do, so Patricia only thought of one thing. I think I should terminate this pregnancy because my husband isn't happy. And realistically, I'm not that happy either. So Patricia did what no one ever thought she'd do. She ended up delivering the babies. The babies were born stillborn in her bathtub, and she delivered them stillborn early because she did not want to deal with having 4 kids. On this particular night, Mr. Garnency had went out with their children, so she figured it was the best time to do so. She sobbed as she put her twin girls in the box and closed up the box. She decided to name them right there. Twin girls, your names will be, Emma and Emily. She named her daughters Emma and Emily, and she closed up her box. When she did, she brought the box outside to her back door. She found a good spot and began to dig. As she dug, she began sadder and sadder. But this is a lot of work. Oh my gosh, I have to make sure this box is in and buried, and no one can ever find it. An hour later, she buried her box, and her twin daughters were underground. She was heartbroken and sobbing and went straight to bed. Before so, she wrote a little message in the dirt that said, "Rest in peace, Emma and Abigail," and then the date. This happened on the night of October 17th, 2003. She went to bed and sobbed and did not wake up until the morning. When she woke up, her husband was there. He asked her how she was doing with the pregnancy and how the girls were doing. And then she admitted to him that what she did. James was absolutely furious, so he divorced her. He packed the bag and left right then and there, while his 2 other children were sleeping. On his way out, he saw this message in the ground and sat down to read it. He then realized it was Emma and Emily Garnency, the daughters that he was supposed to have, and the date. Today was October 18th, and he could not believe that this happened. Oh my god. She buried them in her own yard like dogs. I can't believe this. She treated our kids like wild animals, like squirrels, and buried them in the ground. I cannot stay with her. Why would she want to do something like that to her own children, just because she got pregnant? He left and never came back, at least for now. Over the next 4 years, the kids grew up. The kids were going back and forth and even spending time at both their parents. Okay, kids, so are you ready to go to your dad? Just then there was a knock on the door. Probably your father. Come on up. Yes, there had been 4 years since the passing of her twin daughters, and nobody knew but her. Well, and me now, obviously. Over those 4 years, the words that Patricia put in the ground were slowly fading away. James Garnency then came in and told her that he got a job in New York and that he wanted to bring the kids. Okay, bring the kids. Do you want to move with us? Absolutely not. Fine, then let's go. He packed up the kids, and that was the last time Patricia ever saw her children. They were 5 and 7. Patricia eventually decided that she wanted to move somewhere else because she was living in this house all alone with nobody. Her parents had passed away already. She didn't have a husband anymore, and her kids were with her ex-husband. And now the only thing she had left were her twin daughters that had passed away 4 years before this. She decided to list her house for sale and go for a drive. This drive would be a drive no one would forget. As she was driving, this was a drive she made countless times. She could not believe what she was about to do. There was a car coming in the distance straight for her, but she got in the way purposely. When she saw the car coming, she purposely stopped, and the truck slammed into her. The truck slammed into her. Glass came and fell on her truck. Ah! The truck flipped and she landed underneath all of it. Whoa! Patricia was trapped underneath and she had passed away instantly. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. The only thing that got recovered of her from the accident was her watch that she wore. Yes, Patricia got into a car accident and passed away. And she got into this car accident on purpose because on the inside she was battling depression and was very sad. I can barely stand up too. It was a horrible wreck. And that is what happened to Patricia Garnency. Oh my god. I know, it is crazy. Yes. She passed away and then Michelle, your family moved in. Did you want to explain what happened since you moved in? Yes. In 2007, Derek, myself, and our daughter Lucy Brown moved into the Gardency's family home. There were the three of us, myself, my husband Derek, and our daughter Lucy. We were a happy family and did not know that I would have more children. Yes, when I had my daughter Lucy, I was young. Since I'm only 42 years old, that was 19 years ago. I was only 23 or 21, I can't do my math right now, when I gave birth to my daughter Lucy. And I was very happy to have a firstborn. For the next 5.5, 6 years, we lived as a happy family. And then we got even more happiness when I discovered I was pregnant with my second child. This was my son, Matthew. My pregnancy with my first son was going good because I was 34 years old. So, though I was a little bit at high risk, but I didn't mind. Since there was a big age gap between my children, I was really skeptical about that. I often wondered if Lucy would be happy to have a baby brother or sister at age 10. I mean, she was 9 at the time. I wondered if she would get along with them. I wondered a whole bunch of things because Lucy was now 10 years old and she was already... Well, she was going to be 10 years old and she was used to being an only child for a decade already. But when Derek and I introduced Lucy to Matthew, she was over the moon excited. Oh my gosh! Is that my baby brother? Yes, Lucy, that is your baby brother. Oh, what's his name? His name is Matthew. Yes. Now I was finished having children since I was 34. And we did a fertility treatment. A year went by and life was great. After Matthew's first year was great. But little did we know, just 7 or 8 months after his first birthday, something was going to happen to my oldest daughter, Lucy. It all started out as a beautiful Easter day. It was Easter this year, and allowed Lucy to stay outside while Derek and I were inside preparing for the family to come over and taking care of her brother. But unfortunately, a car came in way too fast and struck Lucy, and she died instantly. The car didn't know what to do. It rushed away before we could come out. I heard Lucy's screams and came running out. Oh my God, Lucy! I did not know what to do, so I started screaming for my husband. Derek! He came running out as well. And when we found Lucy, she had already passed away. April 19th, 2014 was by far the worst day of my life. Losing my firstborn daughter, my 10-year-old, my 11-year-old daughter. I was so upset and could not believe it. The days that followed were just as hard, such as a funeral. It makes me hard to speak about this. And, everything else in the days that followed. I keep Lucy's very special doll that she played with all the time as a remembrance of her, and I keep it on my bed, on my headboard. I cried and cried and cried for days after this. I still could not process that my daughter was already gone, and there was nothing I could have done about it. Derek had to go to work after a week, and I was left at home sobbing and crying with my baby boy. I had no idea how we could move forward from this. But eventually, as time went on, time did start to heal my wounds. As Matthew began to grow, I began to become more happier again, and realized that Lucy would not want me to be sad and cry in sorrow of her. In early 2016, around April, we took almost 2 years to the day, years to the day, I took a pregnancy test and learned that it became positive. And yes, I was 38 years old already. Well, sorry, I was 37, turning 38. I was so excited and called in Derek and Matthew. Matthew! Derek! Matthew was 3 at the time, and Derek was outside with him. Hello, Michelle. Guess what? What? This was the happiest I had been in the past 2 years. What, Mom? I'm pregnant! You are? Yes. I'm having another baby. I was so excited to have another baby join our family. I could not understand how or why, because I thought I was done having children. But I was so excited. In December of 2016, I had my third born. I named him Jacob, and my life was complete again. I had Matthew and Jacob and my wonderful husband, Derek. A part of me always will miss Lucy, but I was so excited to have 2 boys. And Matthew was over the moon excited to have another little brother. Today now, life is great. I have 2 sons and a wonderful husband, and I always will have my firstborn daughter, Lucy. This is Michelle Brown, and I have a 4-year-old son named Jacob, who will be turning 5 in December, and a 9-year-old son named Matthew, who had his birthday last month in August. Life is great now. I'm sobbing over here, I am too! Well, I suppose I'm the last one to go. Yes. Me and my family moved into our house in 2005. Wait a second. Can I tell you about the family that previously lived in your home? Yes. The family that previously lived in your home was the Smith family. Mrs. Smith's name was Catherine, and her husband's name was George. And they had 4 kids. The oldest son's name was Sebastian, and he was 14 years old in 2000. Hi. Then they had 3 younger kids. A daughter, twins, a son and a daughter, whose names was Alex and Avery, and they were 10 in the year 2000, and then they had a younger sister who was 5 in the year 2000. So they had their hands full, their 4 children. They bought their home in 2000 to expand, to have a bigger house, because the home they were living in earlier was not as good. Eventually, when the twins got older, in 2005, they realized the house had become really small. The 14-year-old was going off to college because he was now 19, and the twins were now 15. The youngest daughter stayed little, and she was only 10. I am your baby, I am your baby. Yes, you are. In 2005, the Smith family decided to sell their home. Should sell a house, honey. Why? Well, Sebastian's going off to college, and then the twins can start 10th grade, and then their sister can start 5th grade. Why not? They soon decided to list their home. Since it was summer, they moved out before they got any offers. They had a lot of offers, but they didn't know which ones to take, so they turned all of them down. The family that bought their home had 8 kids. Christina, who was 10, Caleb was 8, Carly was 7, Kobe was 6, Carter was 5, Carter was 4, Kobe was 3, Claudia and Claire were 1.5, they were turning 2, and Colton was 1. No, they were 2, and Colton was 1. And I was pregnant with Cora at the time, my 9th child, and we all moved in to our home. And from there, we had 10 more kids. Cora, and then 9 more after Cora. And here is our family today. A very large clan. My oldest, Christina, who is married to Daniel, and they have Haley, Hannah, and Ethan. Next is Caleb, and he is with Becky, who is currently 8 months pregnant. And they are expecting twins. Next is Carly, then Kobe, who is with Sandy, Carter, Cooper, Claudia, Claire, Colton, Cora, Cassie, Caitlin, Chad, Connor, Christopher, what's her name, Chelsea, Cameron, and Charlotte. So yes, we have 18 kids, and we are very blessed to have such a large family. And that, my friends, is the story of my family. Wow. You okay? Yeah. Whew, yeah. So, everyone, I'm pregnant, and I'm due in December, for those of you that do not know, because I meet you all for the first time. The only neighbor I know so far is Heather, but now I know all of you. Oh, no. Let me put that back on. It was great being able to tell stories and reminisce about the past. Yeah, for sure. I loved hearing all of our stories. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!